Hi everybody, my name is Aurora and I have the channel called Armed Heart, and I'd like to share with you a very interesting subject that has been discussed before, but it has a different value for us right now. This is kind of like a deconstructing of a disgruntled system, and I'm giving the system as the artificial system. I'm personifying it. I'm giving it a personality, and I'm referring to it as Sophia. And before you run off, this particular Sophia that I'm discussing is an artificially constructed world that has a feminine energy and a masculine energy to it. It is in all cases a dual type of frequency, but it has two very distinct personalities that do appear in our existence as we are going through this. We've discussed this previously, but I haven't gotten into it in this much detail, so I'd like to just give you some background about the specific simulated verse or world that we're living in or residing in. I'd like to bring to your attention a little more detail with regards to what I'm going to be sharing right now. I refer to this frequency as a feminine, and I call it an internal fatalistic female, or the Sophia or Ein Soph, original uncorrupted frequency that became trapped into the world of the simulated verse, thus became trapped and corrupted through expression or inverted creation. Her entrapment required some kind of an agreement and some eternal sacrifices that had to be made, and we discussed this, the simulation and the aspect that proved to us this very subject. Okay, so I start off by I've got a few notes which I will be going through with you. Notes will be posted at the end of the video at the bottom of this page, so you'll be able to read what I'm discussing with you. So I bring up our auric fields are hooked into the streams of the eternal feminine deity called Sophia, but a constructed, simulated biosynthetic organism. In other words, robotic frequency. It is bioorganic, but it does not necessarily mean it has an energy to be alive. So we look at the only way for us to get some kind of clarity in this is if we look at the aspect or the element called Yaltabaoth. And we're also going to break this down on a metaphorical level so that you can understand. So we look at the word Yalda, meaning to gird or to grid or to zone off something, meaning or to cordon off or to create a grid. And there already it gives you the idea that we are living in a simulated grid network, not so. From etymology online, and that's the information I can put down for you to see as reference. From Latin, the word grid or gird is zona or geographical belt or celestial zone. From Greek zone, a belt, the girdle worn by women on the hips. From another source, zonyanai, to gird. Okay, from the Pi root yos, to gird. Okay, the word gird has so many explanations. It just gives you, in short, the fact that it's a grid, or it's something that's been set in place, or it's been squared off. Okay, that's the word Yalda. All right, and it has a reference to women wearing a gird on the hips, or the ability to carry a child. So creativity, to create, is being girded, to put it like that. Okay, and then originally one of the 5 great divisions of the Earth's surface, or torrid temperature, frigid, separated by tropics of Cancer and Capricorn and Arctic and Antarctic circles, meaning any discrete region. There's another explanation for you. And then the word Baoth, however you pronounce the spelling, seems to be or exist or grow. So it is something that is continuously growing. So we've got a construct or a grid line or a grid that is growing continuously, and it uses a feminine energy to grow. So for you to understand or to come with me in this is to see, I'll give it to you at the end of this video, the reference, so that you can see that Yaltabaoth is actually connected to the feminine energy, and that it is connected to the creativity, and the only energy that creates or gives birth is a woman, as far as we're aware. Also, there's a connection. The word Baoth means salvation, funny enough, interestingly, and also it's also connected to the word, to somewhere, to baptism or Baphomet, initiatory sacrament of the Christian faith, consisting in immersion in or application of water by an authorized administrator. The reconstructed deity who became the Yaltabaoth or demiurge was always the demiurge to begin with, because when she peered back at herself, she saw her own creation and her own manifestation, which she created without a Christ consciousness or a Christ awareness, or without having a reverence to her thoughts. Okay, and that is who Sophia is actually. It is the same creature. It is the same metaphorical energy. It is a reference to our world, our constructed world, that has a masculine and a feminine energy in it. Another alternative, something else that's very interesting, proper noun for Yaltabaoth, which comes from the Gnosticism, the name of the demiurge or false god created when Sophia, one of the lesser eons, tried to emanate without her counterpart. There you go. Tried to create something without taking responsibility. When we emanate without our counterpart, we create without consciousness. And consciousness is in relation to a Christ-like consciousness. In other words, being aware of what you're doing. Thinking and having common sense when you create something, when you think about something. Another alternative title to or for the word demiurge is saklas. It is Aramaic for fool. Now, the tarot deck refers to the fool as a soul that's newly birthed into this world. And it is also related to the word and to the angelic name called Ariel, which is Lion of God. So lion face. And to have the face of a lion means to be connected to the solar energy, to peer into the constellation of Leo as well. Just for those who are very interested in astrology, that's what I can put down for you to look into. Lion of God, yes, that's what I've said, okay, and has also been used to refer to the demiurge and is called his perfect name. In some Gnostic lore, Ariel has been called an ancient or original name of Yaltabaoth. So be mindful that we have the breakdown of the word Yaltabaoth, which means a grid system that is connected to a feminine energy that has a masculine connection or connotation to this, the lion, which is the head, which is also the sun, which is connected to a god, which comes from the sun, the sun, as in that sun, as well as the one that speaks like Ra. I hope this makes it clear that we can now understand that Yaltabaoth is connected to Sophia. And the only reason I'm going to bring that part in again, just for simpler reasons, is that once we create, we have the intention, we have the expression, and we create within our thoughts. Thought, thoth. The first thought goes out. And as the first thought goes out, we then see in observation what we've just created. And in the same process, we witness a continuation of how we create. Remember I said that this world, that every time we create something, we see and we experience it as if it is a snapshot. Snapshot one, step forward, look at the creation. As we're looking at the creation, we create another creation, and so forth and so forth. And this is also referenced to the double slit theory, if you would like to go a little further to do a research on that. So Sophia, the soul, looks in, creates, thinks, thoughts, without taking responsibility for her thoughts, does this without any responsibility of any particular sense, and as she sees the creation, she sees, oh my gosh, I have just created a monster. It has a lion head and has a serpent body, and we quickly hide our creation, we put it away, we keep silent, we speak nothing of it, we say wrong things, and we hide the story, we hide the truth. And in the clouds, that's according to the Gnostic Nagamadi scripts, it is hidden in the clouds. The clouds are to cloud men's minds. Okay? So, I know I keep harping on this, but it's quite important for you to understand exactly what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a metaphorical construction of things that become literal. It becomes an actual alive because of what you think, because of what you speak. It becomes alive. It lives. Whether it was done with love, whether it was done with hatred, whether it was done with fear, it becomes alive. Whatever you're thinking, if you're thinking things in fear, the boogeyman will come and catch you if you think in fear, because you associate the boogeyman as something that will come and predate on you, and you then become the hunted. So it is a way of how your thoughts and your consciousness you have to take control of yourself. You have to focus on your authentic self. Focus, okay, what is my authentic self? To be connected to my heart, to be heart conscious at all times. Another example that I'm going to bring to you is the head is a lion, and I'm looking at the actual depiction of the Yaltabaoth. You'll see the head is a lion and the body is either a dragon or a snake, however you want to see it, in whatever particular season it was created in as well. Be mindful. This is a metaphorical representation of how we can screw things up with our thoughts. It's really literally that's how it is. It's how we can mess with our own creative abilities. And so this energy requires the fire from the dragon or the transmutation from the snake. However, like I said, it can either be a dragon body or a snake body, and it has no reference to the previous video that was discussed about dragon speak, because this is entirely a different element that we're discussing this in. So please be mindful of this. It is a metaphorical explanation. The transmutational process, and so also the lion to display its power, its prowess like a sun. But a lion is also a predator, so we need to be aware of that, of how we create, whether we create things in a predatory manner or not. Also, as I've said, it's connected to Leo in astrology, in an astrological reference. Okay. If you break up, if you deconstruct the image, you take the lion away and you separate these things from each other, you see that what is revealed are two separate beings, okay, of the same energy. So one is inverted and the other is outward. So we have inversion of fire and then expression of fire. Let's say it's a dragon. It'll be an expression of fire, and the head is a glow. It's glowing. It's like a fire outward. So the dragon has fire from within, and its head has fire outward. So Sophia is a major theme, along with knowledge, among many of the early Christian knowledge, theologies grouped by certain Gnostics or learned scribes, and this has come from that particular timeline as well, from the 17th century. Its reference first. A tale of two heads in the city of mirrors. That's just what I'm calling this specific analogy or story or tale that I'm going to share with you about how things happened. And it won't be a very long one, so I'm going to try and see if I can add whatever I can and give you a shortened version, and the rest you can read on my website. So it starts off by once upon a time there lived the family of serene love and care, prosperity, and many things fair, and all was well in the thoughts of the greater mother of our ancestor, father, mother, brother, child, and sister. Please be mindful, this is a figurative story. One day, which is like 100 years, during the peak of the sun's brightest rays, as in a moment of thought, one idea sprung forth like a fountain out of the primordial seas of emotions, or the sea of ether. And it was good. But as soon as one sprang forth, another thought had split from its own presence or motion, and out came observation. And so observation had set forth, and it was looking everywhere to find a way to see how far it had come. And so out of the observation came expression. And so just like the time of Noah, thoughts formed, as if 2 by 2 becoming 4 and 8. Slowly but surely increasing in its atom or atomized, and slowly all streams of influences wrap around the first model of thought, and her name became Sophia. And Sophia was functional as the epitome of all information, and she was the apple of everyone's eye, the eye of awareness, or the sight, and of the pine, or the pineal. And one day, as the day was likened to 100 years in our time, she wanted to learn to apply the same thing that her father-mother had done. And she was told to be careful, because where she looked, because it was how she looked that made the difference. You may fall a fixed gaze, and out of that fertile earth of wisdom will come life. But she was stubborn, and her thoughts manifested everywhere, and in all aspects of all facets she created new ideas. Love, grace, and mercy. From there, out of love, was born the Roman sense of romance, or ram's love of lust, without the consequence of truth. Mercy, and its birthed judgment, because out of her mercy judgments were made, and so she went on her merry way. The gazing sun was at its highest, and out of pure frustration and a little wickedness of pure delight, Sophia gazed at herself in the ponds of her reflection, of so many arrays of her own beauty. Has she not ever witnessed and nearly fell in Gnosticism, as the pool was alluring with her own mesmerized gaze, and in the ripples of reflection became born, out of the highest rays of cosmic sun, the light had shone through the creature being birthed out of the purest of water intent, and he was malformed. As his body was likened unto a serpent's story, a tale of two, aghast Sophia was startled as she was gazing at her own reflection, and her horror as she witnessed the half-creant. Pure in its glory she called him her own cosmic flawed son, Yaltabaoth. That is as far as it goes. The rest of the story you can read on the website. Please be mindful that this is an information that has come through energy, through thoughts, through dreams, and that this is nowhere else to be found other than from here. Please let me know what you think, and please read the rest of it. It is a reference to the story of Yaltabaoth and Sophia. Thank you.